So, very good morning, everyone. Let's quickly take a look at a few important topics from risk management. This is a very good scoring chapter, and many candidates they tend to struggle to revise this on exam day morning. So, let's quickly check it out so that it will be handy for you. Briefly, identify what type of risk is this. That is, even the best laid out plans become outdated if it cannot keep pace with the latest trends. So this is called the strategic risk, because strategic risk is a risk in which a company's strategy becomes less effective. This is very important, because this will be there on the examiner's answer key. That is, a company's strategy becomes less effective and it struggles to achieve its goal. So they maybe this or various factors could be technological issues, a new competitor entering the market, shift in customer demand, and increase in the cost of raw materials. So these are the various things you are expected to reproduce with regard to strategic risk. Now moving on to the next. Compliance risk is fairly straightforward, and which briefly elaborate on the type of risk which relates to internal risk. You will not be asked a direct question. The question might come like this. So briefly elaborate the type of risk which relates to the internal risk, and that is operation. Then you are expected to write about operational risk, because operational risk relates to the internal risk and also relates to failure on the part of the company to cope with day-to-day operations. Operations risk relate to people as well as process. So there are two ways of asking what is meant elaborate an operation risk. One is which type of risk relates to internal risk, briefly elaborate, or which or what risk relates to people as well as process. Both the cases the answer is operational risk. This is the main, this is how you should study, because this is when you are able to read from examiner's angle. That is very in this last 10-12 days there is no point in just studying and revising. You should know how the questions will be asked in exam. That is all the way more important. So moving on to the next one. What are the various challenges, or what are the various ways political risk may come in the form of? So one is confiscation or destruction of overseas properties, and the simple shortcut for this is RIP. That is, there is nothing you can do about it. So rest in peace. So this is not rest in peace, but this is restriction on conversion of local currency of host country into foreign country, and restriction as to borrowings, and invalidation of patents, and price control of products. So these are the various type of risk, various type of restrictions that can be imposed, or various forms it can be with regarding to the political risk. So moving on to the next, interest rate risk. So this risk occurs due to change in interest rate resulting in change in asset and liability. So whenever you say interest rate risk resulting in changing in asset and liabilities, that is very important. And the risk is important for banking companies. As you can see, the latest trends, the latest changes in FedEx rates, or rate reduction, all those things. It is very important for banking companies, as the balance sheet's image are more interest sensitive, and the base of earning is spread between borrowing and lending rates. That is a primary source of income. So these are the various things that is that you should know in with regard to interest rate risk. So currency risk, there is little less chance of currency risk coming this time, because it was asked in September 25 straightforward question, which was there in the prediction. And also how financial risk can be evaluated. So it can be evaluated from stakeholders point of view, from companies viewpoint, and from government's point of view. So major stakeholders are equity shareholders, and they view the financial gaining, that is the debt equity ratio and all those things. And companies viewpoint is from company's point of view. If a company borrows excessively or lend to someone who defaults, then it can be good. In such cases, the company may even head to liquidation. And government's point of view, the financial risk can be viewed as failure of any bank or downgrading of any financial institution, be it S bank or anything. So these are the various various ways in which financial risk can be evaluated. So moving on to the next. This is another very important topic from which problems can come, or even theory can be answered. Theory might come. So what are the various features of war that is valued credit risk, its calculations components, statistical method, time horizon, probability, risk control, and Z score. So these are the various features of VAR. And now next one is the application of VAR. This is more important than the feature of theoretical angle. It acts as a tool for asset liability management, that is ALM, especially in banks. We saw an interest rate resulting in asset and liabilities. So VAR can be used to measure that. That is how you should connect. You'll be able to appreciate the topics more, and you can spend less time for recalling it. And to fix the time limit for individuals, and acts as a benchmark for performance management, and to enable the management to decide the trading strategies and to measure the maximum possible loss in any portfolio or trading position, especially with recent fall in stock market. This can be used for those things as well. So moving on to the next. What are the various techniques to manage counterparty risk, and what are the various hints that provide counterparty risk? So these are the answers. So first is the failure to obtain necessary resources to complete the project. The project will be left halfway, and any regulatory restrictions, then hostile action of the foreign management, and have become insolvent or led down by the third party. So you need to reproduce these things as it is. So maybe you can have a shortcut as fall. F-A-L-F is failure, A is any regulatory regulations, and L is led down by the third party. So these are the various hints that indicate counterparty risk. And what are the techniques to manage counterparty risk? That is very important. The shortcut is CURD, CURD. C for carrying out due diligence, U for use of performance guarantee, or for rapid action in the event of any default, like likelihood of defaults, and R is for review the limits and procedure for credit approval regularly, and D is for do not overcommit to a single or group of connected entities. So these are the various techniques to manage counterparty risk. And now, what are the various risks relating to investments in a foreign country with regarding to political risk? So, by referring political rankings, by evaluating countries' macroeconomic conditions, and by taking advices from the embassies of the home country in the host countries, and by analyzing the popularity of the current government and assessing their stability. So, these are the risks relating to the investment in foreign country that company should consider before while assessing the country risk. And the techniques that can be used is, because everywhere, be it in solving AFM or be it in risk, first we got to analyze the various risks, and we got to have the techniques to counter it, so then only you'll get everything you want. So similarly in this case, the technique is prior negotiations, local sourcing of raw material, labor, and entering into JV, and local financing. So these are the various techniques in which the political risk can be countered. So if all of you made full use of this till now, it's going to be very handy for you. Keep revising, watch it 4 to 5 times, and I'm sure you're going to really succeed, and going to be very easy. So before just a quick wrap, this, as I was mentioning, it was asked in September 25, the parameters to identify currency risk. First is government action, nominal interest rate, inflation rate, natural calamities. So these are the various parameters to identify currency risk, but it's very important for you to focus on the other previous topics that we discussed, because that has got more chance of coming. So watch it at least 2 to 3 times. Within 10 minutes, we are able to brush up the entire risk management. So ideally, if you invest solid 30 minutes, I'm sure you're going to pocket the entire risk management fully. So make full use of it. All the best. Keep going best. Stay focused.